Welcome to WNation, your hub for everything Utah Warriors of Major League Rugby. Great to have everybody. I'm Jeremy Jordan alongside Jared Banks, a.k.a. Banksy. We're your hosts, announcers for the matches this season. And Banksy, that beard is looking full, bro.
Well, one day when you grow up and you become a man, you can grow one too.
The current employer prevents such, but even if I could grow it, it wouldn't look like that. I know that. Yeah, I'm stoked about where we're at. We're under 3 months to the season now, and we have the jerseys to schedule the roster. So we're going to let you know more about some of these guys, starting with the front rowers, specifically the props, the ones and the threes, the loose heads and the tight heads, right? This is going to be fun, and this is a group that is really loaded, and we're going to hear from a ton of them today.
This is a chance to get to know some of your front rowers and what they do for WNation and the Utah Warriors. Super excited to talk to Olive Khalifi and Franco Vandenberg going to be on the show. We got Alex Tucci, and then the mastermind behind it all, Mr. Shawn Pittman, going to join us as well to talk some forward work.
Has anyone done a show on only props ever? Has anybody done what we're about to do?
I don't think so, because nobody besides props know what props do. So, and
we're going to learn today.
Been brave enough to give props a microphone for this long.
We're going to figure it out. Okay, so let's talk about the role of props. And you are a prop yourself. Obviously, front rowers in the scrum with the hooker, but they do much more than that. But it starts in the set piece typically.
The first rule of propping is win the set piece, and it doesn't matter if it's a line out. Your props in the line out are usually the bigger bodied guys at the front that are lifting your second rowers or your loose forwards. In the scrum, they're the guys right at the front. They're those three players that are there to engage the opposing team at the point of contact. The tight head side is usually the prop on the right side, and he's the guy that's got two heads next to him. The loose head side is the guy usually to the left side of the scrum, and he's the one that has the open side next to him, and that's where the ball feeds in when it's our put. The two most crucial positions when it comes to the set piece, probably your tight head and loose head, whether it's scrummaging or whether it's the line out.
Okay, let's talk about who are the loose heads on the Utah Warriors for the 2021 season. So Franco Vandenberg has been with the team for a couple years. We'll hear from him. Mike Payne, a selects guy, formerly at BYU, who is in the mix. And then, as you mentioned, and this came out just a couple of days ago, big-time signing, later signing, Olive Khalifi for the Warriors from Seattle, where he's played in 2 World Cups. He's won 2 Major League Rugby championships. I mean, this is a massive signing, adding to a group that I thought was already really good.
The depth that we have now at specifically the prop position, because we haven't even really talked about the hooker, where I'm sure we'll see Mike Payne play a lot at hooker this year. He played there quite a bit with the selects. He looks fantastic. He looks to be in good shape, and he's running into form and continuing to grow as a player. So I like what I keep seeing out of Mike Payne. But to have Franco, who has been that solids guy, he's been the guy at the loose head position there. Now you add somebody like Ollie in there, and even Paul Mullen, who can play either side. And you're talking about international caps all the way across the front row.
And it's fun because you look at the tight heads as well. You mentioned a couple of Eagles there. You add Angus McClellan to that. 3 Eagles in the mix there. Paul Mullen, current Eagle. Alex Tucci, who's back from a knee injury. We'll talk to him as well. And Elijah Hayes, one of those draft picks who you're going to hear from Shawn Pittman a little bit later. But, man, he's an up-and-comer as well.
I mean, you're talking about, 4 and 5 deep on either side of the scrum and not really losing anything in quality from any player that you put in there, because everybody has their assets one above the other. Gus been so great at that tight head spot for the last couple of years and really improved leaps and bounds. You're talking about a guy that's already a capped Eagle, that's played at the test level in some pretty big games and against some incredible competition. And he just continues to get better and is the foundation of the Utah Warriors scrum. When you talk about when that piece comes to play, it starts at the tight head position. Your job is to not go backwards. It's to not pivot. It's to make sure that the foundation for that scrum is steady, and it starts at the tight head position, not the loose head side. It starts at the tight head side. You don't want to turn. You, of course, obviously don't want to be going backwards, and Gus been so good. But then to have, the World Cup experience of somebody like Paul Mullen come in, we know Alex Tucci brings an incredible amount of strength and a lot of those intangibles away from the ball in the way that guy moves. The things we saw Elijah Hayes do during the select season this year, running in open space with the ball. A man of that size with that kind of athletic ability, when he starts to pair that with the technical learning of being a tight head prop, you're talking a really high ceiling for a guy that could end up competing for caps. And we're talking about, realistically, 5 guys that could wear an Eagles jersey playing across that Utah Warriors front row.
That's pretty gnarly and very exciting for the 2021 season. So, okay, let's go. This is a 4-guest show. It's going to be a little longer, but it's going to be awesome. You're going to learn everything you need to know about propping. So, our first guest is a 34-year-old who is the veteran of 2 World Cups, 31 caps with the Eagles, 2-time MLR champ with Seattle Seawolves. He is Olive Khalifi. All right, it's Olive Khalifi. Great to have you on the show, man. We are stoked to have you on the Warriors, and man, we can't wait to see you play. So thanks for joining us on WNation.
Oh, yeah, man. No, I'm excited to be able to join you guys. Thank you for having me on here. I'm excited. Utah is a great club. So I know personally, just being on the other end of playing Utah, I know how good Utah is, and so it's actually exciting to be a part of on that side. So.
First off, congratulations. I know 2020 has been a crazy year for you, but you guys had a baby back in March, right? Did I see that right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we had a baby, so he's coming up on 9 months now. So he's big, house is getting full. So
you put a ball in his hands yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been, he's moving around. He's starting to stand on his own, and he's getting big. So. Yeah, they're all around rugby balls and stuff around my house, so they're pretty used to it. So.
This is our prop show. We're talking about the props, the loose heads, the tight heads, and the roll, and who's in it and whatnot. So you're the latest signing for the Warriors. I thought the props were pretty good already with a couple of Eagles, and now we had you in there. 31 caps and 2 World Cups and 2 MLR championships. What do you feel like you can bring to the Utah Warriors with all that experience?
I'm just, first of all, I'm just excited to just join you guys. I'm like you said, you guys already have some amazing talent at the front row position. You got Alex, you got Paul Mullen, which I've seen you guys signed, and just some other props. I'm not sure if Hulu's still there, but I mean, I don't
want to correct you here at all, Ollie, but it's we signed. Because you're part of the station now. So it's not you guys signed. It's we signed, all right?
Yes. You're right, Jerry. My fault. Yeah, so we signed, and so Utah's always had good front rowers. I've always had some good competition against Utah in the past, and so to be able to come in and to be able to share what I know and some of my experience would just be, I think would just be adding to the talent that Utah already had, So, no, I really respect the front rowers that Utah had before. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it. So.
Now, we talked about the difference between the tight head side and the loose head side. A lot of props prefer one side or the other. You play quite a bit. Do you prefer playing in the 1 or the 3 more?
So I grew up playing. I started off as a tight head, and so it was. That was where I was really comfortable at and playing. And so I think slowly as I got into the men's club and as I got into the higher level of rugby, they start trying to transition me to loose head, which is if you haven't played front row, they're 2 different positions.
Very different techniques and positions to play the 2 of them with tight head and loose head.
Oh yeah, and Jared, so it's just where your body is, the positioning of where you are in the scrum, it's completely different. And so, I mean, for someone that doesn't know or hasn't played in the front row, it just looks like just big guys just leaning in on each other. But it's technically it's very different. Tight head would probably be pretty much the cornerstone. That's who you really want, kind of your solid base. If the tight head moves, everything kind of gets compromised. The loose head is more of a they're both pretty important, but tight head is really, really a tough position. So it took me a while to learn loose head. It took me a while to learn the hand positioning, just where my body needed to go. But I think it's a position that I'm comfortable with now. So yeah, it took a lot of learning, to be honest, and a lot of facing the dirt. You know how it is. So.
Do you already have a relationship with Shawn Pittman with your Eagles connection?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Pittman. He's well, you know, Pittman's originally from the Pacific Northwest. He's from North town up north called Bellingham, which is really close to the Canada border. But no, I used to play with Pittman all the time with the Eagles as a player before he became a coach. So no, I have high respects for Pittman and his just what he's been able to accomplish, not as a player but also as a coach. So yeah, no, I got a lot of respect
So
for
we've
Pittman.
seen
So
you go through a couple of different World Cups, a lot of big matches, a lot of big names that you've actually gone up against. What are some of your favorite on-field moments? Give us an on-field memory from one of your World Cup games where you went to pack down in a scrum and you look across the other side and you go, yeah, this is happening right now.
yeah, man, I think there's quite a bit of them. You know, I think the one that always comes to my mind was just going against was when we played the All Blacks. You know, back in Chicago, these 2014, and it was uh, it was really surreal for me because I grew up as someone that grew up watching rugby, watching my dad. My dad was like a huge rugby fan, and we used to always watch the All Blacks play, and so to actually be in front of these guys, it was kind of like a starstruck moment. But then you know you're there to do a job. I don't
I
know
know
if
as
that
soon
makes
as the
sense,
whistle
but
blows, you're just playing the game. But
yeah,
there's
I mean
got to
you're
be
a
that
fan.
moment, especially there where
And
you're standing there and you're facing the haka from the All Blacks at Soldier Field. That's a cool memory to have, bro.
yeah, it is, you know, and you almost have to kind of put the fan side of yourself to the side, which is really hard because in your head you're just like, man, these are guys I idolize, and then all of a sudden you're like whistle blows and now you're playing against them, and so I think that's probably one of the biggest memories, and also probably the World Cup, my first World Cup. Just the work that it took to get there and to be able to you know, play against Samoa, which my mom is Samoan, so it was an honor to stand against them and to be able to be a part of that match and just the whole experience. I think those are probably the ones that come to mind the most.
And then
So
you look at your experience, professionally outside of the test matches. Obviously, the last 2 years, well, prior to this year, somehow you knew there was a pandemic and you took the year off. That was pretty smart.
oh
But the previous 2 years, you win the Major League Rugby championship, the title with the Seattle Seawolves, and one of those really dramatically, right, over San Diego. What was it like to win in the first 2 years of the league?
uh honestly, it was nobody knew, right? We didn't know going in it, that we were gonna win it. Nobody did. We just were excited about the opportunity. I think that was the attitude that we had, where we were just these group of guys coming in into a new league that started, um, and we felt that we can make an impact, or we can actually make something for ourselves in this league, and so that we took it really serious. To be honest, we hit the ground running on preseason, and if you were to ask me if we were going to win it, nobody, I don't think anybody knew, but it was exciting to be there at the end for both seasons. It was a good experience. I had, I have tons of great memories with those guys. I mean, I'm still good friends with a lot of the Seawolves players. So, um, no, it was exciting. I mean, it's a big accomplishment for us. And no, it was something that
So
I,
flash forward to that now. Gone from the Seawolves. You took the social distancing before it was cool route, and now you flash forward to watching Utah beat Seattle in Seattle right before the COVID break, and now you've
yeah.
signed with the team. You know it. I know Jerem and I both feel like we're a team on the rise here, and we're growing and building. You
Oh, yeah,
bring
yeah.
that level of competition into what the Utah Warriors are doing. Talk about who you have on the team now that you know and have relationships with, because I know you spent a lot of time in Utah. You know a lot of the guys here. I mean, it's got to be exciting to almost come to a home away from home, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm friends with quite a bit of the Utah guys. You got Lance, obvious Alex Tucci. I actually spoke with him today. We were messaging each other, and there was also Fetz who was on the team. Hulu. You got Saya. I mean, I think everybody in the league knows Saya. It's you know, he's one of the
I
toughest
noticed you
guys I've
ran
ever
down all
played
the
against.
Tongan guys first, Ollie.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you got. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, okay. Now let me grab the other list. So you got Calvin. You got Matt.
There we
You
go.
know, and I mean, you got John Cullen.
It was all the Tongan guys and then Tucci.
Yeah. No specific order. We're just just throwing names out there. So, but yeah, like for example, like John Cullen. I played. Me and John Cullen had a long history here in Seattle. Me and him played together here at Seattle Saracens before it became Seattle Rugby Club, and so I mean I knew John a while back. So when he signed with Utah, I thought that was amazing.
Hey, and I haven't mentioned this, but I love the Seahawks and Mariners as a kid growing up in Portland. Then so yeah, we're part of the 12s, right? Mariners are so bad, but I still love them. But Seahawks, still, baby.
Hey, don't worry. I'll cross my finger. Maybe within the next 15 years we can do something.
I just want
to make. You guys are cute. Jared, are you gonna take him out to dinner next and wine and dine him with a candlelight romance evening out together?
We're gonna eat salmon. We're gonna talk about the.
This isn't speed dating. This is WNation.
We're gonna talk about DK Metcalf's abs. All that.
Yeah, man. It's man. Yeah, I'm a huge Seahawks fan. My family's huge Seahawks fan, so it's yeah. No, everything about it, I agree. So. I know Jared doesn't want to hear it.
Root for who you want to root for.
Yeah. Well, we're stoked to have you on the team. We think you're going to make a massive addition to this already talented group, and we really appreciate the time. We'll have you on again during the season at some point, but thanks for joining us here on WNation.
Yeah, for sure, brothers. Hey, thank you for this time, and yeah, we'll catch up again. So.
Don't forget your last-minute stocking stuffer ideas. Go to warriorsrugby.com. Spend $100 on your Warriors gear and get 2 tickets to the Utah Warriors home opener. Warriorsrugby.com has it all. Plus, you can buy 3 season tickets and get 1 free and get 4 tickets to the home opener and a rugby ball. It's just $95 when you want to pick that up. So get all the information you want. Warriorsrugby.com. It's live now.
It's a steal of a deal. I mean, jump on that one. And we've got others we'll give you throughout the program. Okay, our next guest is from South Africa, headed into his 3rd year with the team. He'll be a USA Eagle eligible in 2022. We may see him donning the red, white, and blue in a few years. He is Franco Vandenberg. All right, Franco Vandenberg is on the show. Franco, great to have you on WNation, man.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Okay, let's talk about props, because this might be the first podcast show, rugby content ever, where we only talk props. So you're a loose head prop. What are the nuances and the details and the finer points of being a loose head prop that people don't know but need to appreciate?
So the first thing is that it's set piece first. You have to make sure that your team gets the ball on every single one of their feeds and make sure that the other team gets the least amount of ball that they can. So my job is to make sure that we win all of our scrums and try to disrupt all of their balls at scrum time, make sure that I'm lifting well in line out so that we can get our ball and try to disrupt their line out as much as possible. And then the same is true for in loose play, at breakdowns, and etc. So the nuances of prop are, the first thing is that you're a prop first and not a rugby player. So it's all about getting those jobs done and getting into the darker places a little bit, and not as much about the name recognition as some of the other guys who say kick for points or score more of the tries. And then obviously it gets a bit more technical after that with an extreme focus on scrummaging, and where every week the matchup you'll have is different. You know, every other prop you'll face and every other pack you'll face is different according to what their makeup is, how they choose to scrum as a pack, how they choose to scrum as individuals, what their strong and weak points are. So that's where the most of the work goes into on a weekly basis. It's just preparing to make sure that the team has the opportunity that we need with the ball in hand.
So talk about the level of competition now with all the players that have been added, obviously with Paulie coming in and with Ole, and with you and Gus, who have been an absolute staple there in those positions. The level every single season that we've seen you guys rise to from the set piece, it's got to feel good, even through the first half of the season, COVID shut us down, to see the strides that you guys made at the set piece, both at the line out and the scrum. As a prop, that's got to be a big, pat on the back to you and the boys.
Yeah, I think as a team we've made massive leaps in our set piece, both in the players that we've added and the management have done very well in the players that we've signed, but also in our preparation and in our attitude towards the game. It is truly a mind shift where the front row, but also the whole pack, decides that our ball is our ball and your ball is our ball, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's truly an attitude that you take on and decide that's the most important thing you can do for the team. And I think we did really well at the start of this season already, and we were heading on to massive things with our pack. And then this year, with the extra players coming in, I'm truly excited. I mean, a scrum is never a extremely comfortable place to be, but with the players that we've signed, I think we might be the most comfortable of any of them. It might be the most comfortable place for us to be, because we have extreme depth. We have a lot of competition in the pack and competing on a weekly basis. So it helps us raise the standards even before we start playing, but it also helps us raise the standards in the fact that we have the luxury now to use our depth and keep players fresh every weekend.
Let's talk about kind of your journey to the Warriors and then how that's going. So obviously you're from South Africa and you joined Tyler Fisher and this year Aston Fortuyn and Yuri Van Buren and Calvin Whiting and of course Sean Davies on the coaching staff, which is pretty awesome. And I might have missed somebody, but there's a good group of South Africans on this team, right?
Yeah, we've built a nice little community here in Utah. It's always good to have some familiarity when you're in a foreign land, and obviously we've settled in here well now, but it did help us in having a little bit of familiarity. I think the Safa boys always do their best on and off the field for the squad. So it's great that we've built a few of those guys who especially come in and have played in other professional setups and with some of the best coaches and setups in the world as well. So they bring in a lot of experience to the team and a lot of maturity in the thinking and the work ethic as well. So it's a fun time playing with the Safa boys and seeing them integrate into this awesome team and community that we have at the Warriors already.
So introduce the world, if you will, because Americans, I think, are just switching on to this. The South African version of beef jerky. It's different. It's made from all different kinds of wild game. It's called? Biltong?
It's called biltong. Yeah. It's called biltong, and it's a dried meat. It isn't smoked. It's just dried, cured in some vinegar and spices, and then hung up to dry with a piece of fat at the top left. So the piece of meat that you would pick in the US would probably be something like a rump roast with some fat at the top, and then you'd cut it into your strips, and you could dry it and then cut it again later. But it is just, in my opinion, better in every single way.
I will not disagree with you. I am at a point now where some of the South African friends that I've played with and gotten to know over the years have introduced me to it. If you haven't tried it, do yourself a favor. I know there's some places now in America where you can get it online and check out Biltong.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, no,
that's my shout out to the culture for you, Franco.
Yeah, it's difficult to get a hold of the good stuff. It's quite a rare commodity here. But when I do get my hands on it, it's an absolute feast. So,
wow, that's awesome.
That's how he gets those big, broad shoulders.
That's how you get it? Okay, I need more of that. Yeah. Okay. You talked about what this community has built and what's going on here. Obviously, year 4 of the league is notable. And the Warriors continue to build not only the roster and the depth at prop, but the whole team, the coaching staff, the community, the selects. It feels like this is going to be sustainable for a while. So what is it that's going really well, in your opinion, about this situation?
I mean, Utah is a special place, and it's the first place that I've gotten to where, for example, players stay around on the field afterwards to greet the people who come out and support us and spend time with those people. And it isn't just because those fans want to meet the players, but also because the players want to meet the fans. And it's an experience where we want to spend time together. So it's a team that truly plays for the community, and it's a community that truly supports the Warriors. I think Utah deserves professional sports, and I think people really do appreciate the bit that they get and do appreciate the game of rugby. So I think the community in Utah falls in perfectly into the broader rugby community and the values that we enjoy as rugby players.
So let's look forward now to, I mean, obviously you've been in America for several years now. This is your adopted home, and, you know, the goals of being an Eagle and putting on the stars and stripes and getting that cap as an Eagle. What would it mean to you to get that call up and be able to play for your new home? It may be the most American story ever. You come to America for a better life with a sport, and parts of your culture, and you make all of this better, and then you get to represent America. You're eligible in 2022 or 2023?
I think because I got here before they changed the 3 to 5 year rule, I'm actually eligible that by the end of next year. So only a 3-year waiting. So the end of December next year. And then, of course, for me, it's an incredibly exciting prospect to think about playing at test level, measuring yourself.
Paris 2023.
Yeah, measuring yourself against the best in the world. And I mean, this has been a great place for me and my family, and it would really be an honor for me to represent the country in which we've found so much security and so much happiness and really a solid foundation to build our family on. So for me, it would be an absolute honor to represent that, and it's an exciting prospect for me. So, but for me, I need to make sure to control my controllables and play as well as I can for my team, because at the end of the day, as a rugby player, you'll get picked if you play well for your team. You'll play well for another team, and that's how you get in. So for me, I want to control my controllables and do as well as I can for the Warriors.
Well, that starts with the 2021 season, which is under 3 months away. We're looking forward to it a ton. Franco, we appreciate your time, man, as we talk about...
Don't forget, Warrior Nation, your season ticket packages continue to be your best option to catch the Utah Warriors in action. Tickets starting as low as $96 per seat. That gets you all 8 home games to see your Utah Warriors in action, plus special access to team events, special event games. I heard a rumor there's an incredible preseason game coming up that we may or may not have already said too much about. Discounts on merchandise and all the other perks that come with being holder. WarriorsRugby.com if you want to check it out.
Okay, our next guest is a former college football player turned rugger who scored one of my favorite tries ever, dragging fools and dotting it down against Houston in 2018. He is Alex Tucci. All right, it's great to have Alex Tucci on. Earlier today, I was watching your try against Houston in 2018. That was such a good run and dive and fending off dudes. Like, I can't wait to see you do that in 2021. So great to have you on WNation, Alex.
Yeah, great to be here with you guys.
You have a reputation for being one of the biggest dudes in the gym. You know, when I go down to training and I see you guys moving weight, everybody's always like, you know, the measure is always what's Tucci pushing. So when we talk about like how you compare in the weight room, and obviously coming back from a knee injury and everything, how does that? Who can hang with Tucci when you guys are pushing weights?
I mean, honestly, see, I feel like with me, as far as lifting weights now, it's very I'm very aesthetic with it. But there's some big. I mean, we're talking props here, so I mean, you got Franco. We just added Paul. Paul's been at the a couple trainings and Angus. And all those dudes can lift some weight, you know? You see them, they got them deadlift bodies. Just pick things up and put it down. But I mean, you know, it's a good group to be around because it kind of pushes us all. We're all like bounce weights off each other. I mean, even Mike Payne, you throw Mike Payne in the mix, that dude's strong. So it's a fun time in the weight room.
Yeah, and let's talk more about those guys. Then we'll talk about your recovery from a knee injury and kind of growing up and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a talented group. You add Oli Khalifi to the group, and oh my gosh, this group's loaded, man. Are you stoked to play with these guys?
Yeah, I'm really stoked to play with all these guys. I mean, I played against Ali and Paul. I saw them a lot the first year, and got to play against both. And now to be on the same side as them, I mean, shoot, those are both two World Cup props right there. And even though I'm getting up there, like as far as age goes, still feel young. But to learn just things from them and go against them in practice is only going to make me better. So I'm excited to get on the field with them. It's nice having them at workouts and whatnot, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, I mean, everyone, Franco, Angus. I mean, I feel like we got a really good group this year.
It's a really tight group. I've watched from the outside looking in, and one, you can tell you guys really get along genuinely, like as men and as friends, not just as teammates. Talk about now adding somebody who a lot of you guys are very familiar with Oli, and the level of competition now for every spot on every game day. That's got to be electric.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as like, I mean, it's gonna be great competition throughout practice and everything, but I mean, the thing about propping is it's kind of like, I mean, no prop can play 80 minutes. So you got to have it's going to be awesome to have two guys start out the game and you know you're going to get the best out of both of them, and then two guys come in around that 50-60 minute mark and be able to finish out strong. So I mean, shoot, slot us in wherever you got to slot us in, and let us go to work. That's the way I'm seeing it. And that's why I mean, I like rugby. I feel like it kind of takes, like, when in football it was always like you want to be that starter. They're gonna get most of the reps and everything like that. Where in rugby is like it's more of a team. You got to have you guys that start the game out, and then you got to have your bench come on. That's just, you know, keeping that standard and even raising it even a little bit more. So I'm just happy we got all these guys, all this experience at the front row now, and it's gonna just be really fun to see where we take it.
That's what we always say. You play for who's on the front of the jersey, not for the name on the back of the jersey, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's loaded. There's not going to be a drop-off from the ones to twos. That's going to be awesome. Okay, let's talk about you and your knee injury. So you had one, it's been, a year and a half or so from now? How's it feeling? What's that recovery process been like for you?
Yeah, so the recovery process, it was long. I didn't expect that. I wanted to, you know, everyone's like, oh, you'll be back 9 months. 9 months, you'll feel fine. And then, you know, COVID comes, kind of throws you off target a little bit. I mean, last January when I came out here, it was like it's night and day with my leg. When I came out here last January, it was just such a baby leg, I would always call it, and just be like limping, like, you know, walking upstairs was hard. I'd be like, oh my God, like is it gonna get better? That I always talk to my trainers. Kenzie down at Tosh at Intermountain, she was with me pretty much throughout my whole rehab process, getting me right. And I would ask her and have her bring me to the physical therapists that or the PTs they had there, and be like, I just have all these questions, and they'd be like, just give it time. And then selects kind of started coming around, and, you know, I mean, I had Lance there with me along the way too. So, I mean, I would always be like, does this hurt or does this feel weird to you and stuff like that. And then honestly, I saw me and Lance started doing the selects this off season in November, and I would see Lance actually was on the field before I got on the field. And he tore his ACL after I did. And just seeing him out there running, I was like, okay, like I got to start making the push to get back out there. So I gave it one more week, and then I finally started getting to practice more and getting comfortable out there. And then after the first game, I came back, I felt good, and then we played those MPD boys, and those guys ain't no pushover guys. Those are grown men, and just playing against them, and then I sort of hit this like threshold where I just didn't even think about my leg, and I was just playing rugby again. And ever since that day, I was just like my leg kind of, I don't know what happened, whether it be it just got that you know hitting on it, or just that like high intensity movement on it, and or maybe the adrenaline coursing through it or whatever. But ever since then, it's felt great, and I've really like rode the good feeling into our workouts that we've had that we're doing right now for this off season conditioning, and yeah, I feel really good. But it was a process.
Look, I got a chance to watch you run in the selects and in all the appearances that you made, and it was great. You know, I've been a fan, and I've been cheering for you since day one.
Yeah.
And I always want to see Tucci on the field, because you're that guy that, like in real life, you always bring that energy. There's always a good vibe about Alex, you know, and whether you're just joking around the locker room or when you step foot on the field. Now, talk about bringing that energy. You know, you talk about, you know, your starters getting 60 minutes, 70 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you come in for the last 15 or 20. You know, the try that you scored that Jerem talked about, these energy moments, you know, to be able to get out there with guys, not just at the set piece where props seem to go, I don't want to say unheralded, because that's where you really notice what the front row does, is at the scrum and the lineouts with the lifts. But you got a bunch of guys that can throw the ball around with each other and play with the ball in hand. As a type 5 forward, that's got to be fun ball.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as bringing the energy, I mean, this is what I love to do. Like, people always ask me, like, as I'm getting up there, like I'm 29 now, and everyone's always like, "Oh, how long are you gonna play rugby for?" And I'm like, I'm honestly gonna play until I can't, like, till someone tells me no. Because this is what I love to do.
Until they're in their 30s, bro. You got a lot of time left.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I hear. But I mean, people always, this is what I love to do. I have things that I love in life, and that's what I focus on the most. So when it comes to rugby and being around the guys, being practice games and stuff, it's like when I show up to practice and I'm having a good time with everyone, joking around, working out and stuff, I feel my best. And then when I get on the field, it's like, now in the game, it's like, this is where it's what I've been waiting for, to like play in this game. So now it's, I guess, that energy and that excitement really gets to flourish, because this is all that I've been working for. But yeah, it's nice to, like, we got a lot of guys, and just the way our team, I guess, are like between our coaches. I mean, you got Sean Davies and Chris Latho, who are both ball in hand type of guys, attack focus people, and then him in the scrum and stuff, and then defense wise. But we got, like, I mean, we're gonna play some good rugby, I think, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun already, just in training, practicing, going all over all the skills and stuff. It just feels like it lets us be more rugby players too. Lets us be us.
Yeah, and we're a little under 3 months away from the season. It can't come fast enough, right?
I'm so
I
excited.
wanted to ask you about your sort of journey of your life, right? So obviously we can hear your accent a little bit. I love it. Born in the Bronx, you live in Florida. You end up going to Colorado State. You end up going to West Texas A&M. You end up going to Ireland to play. Now you're in Utah. What did I miss, man? You've been all over.
No, you pretty much hit everything. It's just, born in New York. All my family's pretty much still in New York. On my dad, because my mom and my dad, they were separated most of my life. So when I got to the age of 12 or like 11 or something, my mom asked me, like, what I want to do when I get old. I said I want to be a professional athlete, and she was like, okay, New York isn't probably the best spot. She thought I was going to become like one of those gangsters, like in like an Italian mob movie, like on A Bronx Tale.
Like A Bronx Tale.
When Colugito just like meets Sonny on the side of the block, and then he becomes, a gangster.
Wait,
and she's like, I could already see you going that way. At like 10, 11, I was like, what do you mean I'm playing Pokemon or something like that? But I mean, it's definitely one of those places where you grow up, and it's a quick, fall off one way or the other. So I'm happy my mom brought me to Florida. I was a baseball player, so I was playing baseball year round. They saw me run on. They would see me like beat out ground balls on the infield, and they were like, go play football. And then after the football season was done, my friend called me. He's like, hey, come play rugby. I was like, what is that? He's like, don't even worry about it. You get to run the ball at people. I was like, say less. No. Played that all through. I remember one time in high school, I even went to like a rugby tournament. I didn't even tell my football is serious from where I'm from. So I like left for a week of summer camp or something, and didn't even tell my coach because I actually I missed my flight and I just had no time to go tell my coach. And we ended up like, it was the Florida select team, and we ended up going to like Pittsburgh or something. But I got back, he's like, where were you? I was like, oh, I had a rugby tournament. He was like, are you crazy? Like, you just didn't tell anybody? My coach was like, what is rugby? What do you mean? They tried to get me to stop playing it so many times in high school too. And I was like, I can't stop.
Hey, look, you made the right choice, man. The game they play in heaven. It's where you're at now.
Realistically, I mean, I'm happy I chose my football path along the way because I met so many people and got to go to so many different places. But I always sit back and I'm like, I wonder if I should have took my, because I had a scholarship to life, and I was like, I wonder if I should have went the rugby. I would always think like, what would have happened if I would have went rugby? Like, where would I be by now? But I mean, I'm happy with. I have no regret on anything because
look, we're glad you landed here with WNation, man, and you've been with the Warriors now, and you're obviously a fan favorite, and I'm a fan.
Yep.
You posted some great throwback pictures, by the way, online lately. Some young Tucci pictures. If you haven't been able to find it. Plus, I know we'll throw a little shout out here. I know you're a big Twitch streamer and you love streaming your video games when you're not playing ball. Throw a shout out there for your stream and go ahead and plug it, bro.
All right, yeah. So my Twitch stream is twitch.tv/SlimTucci. I'm pretty much live at least once a day, mostly at nights during the week. On the weekends, I'm on for a long time. There it is. Follow the Instagram, Slim Tucci. Everything is Slim Tucci pretty much, except for my Twitter because I think I got nervous one time and I just changed it to Alex Tucci _. But I'm probably gonna change it back to Slim Tucci. But yeah, no, there it is, the Tucci game. We got merch too.
Look at that.
Merch. We got hats coming out. We got hats online.
When's that care package, Tucci? I want that Tucci time shirt.
A lot. Oh, that's right. I gotta talk to my designer, Mike Gleason, Gieselman on our team. He actually designs all my logos and stuff. Nice. Guy's talented. Had to give him a shout out.
Well, awesome, Alex. We're so stoked that you could join us on WNation. It's great to hear your knee is good, and we'll look for more awesome photos on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for everything. Honestly, being part of Warrior Nation and being part of the Warriors has been a blessing. They've helped. I mean, only I when I tore my ACL, I didn't think I thought it was kind of my end here with Utah, just because who wants to bring back a prop that tore his ACL? But the staff stuck by me. You guys stuck by me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you to you guys.
You got it, man.
WNation, the Warriors Academy winter camps start on December 28th. If you want to get in and train like a Utah Warrior, get access to the coaching staff, all the training techniques, information, and skills that you need to up your game, sign up for the Warriors winter camps. It's online now at warriorsrugby.com/Warriors Academy. You can check it all out.
The future will come through that academy, right? I'm very excited.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's wrap up our 4-interview day, bringing in the forwards coach for the Utah Warriors, also the forwards coach of the USA Eagles in the World Cup, Shawn Pittman, to talk about the front row and how this group is looking in 2021. All right, Shawn, I've done a lot of cool things in my career creatively. I don't think we've ever done just a prop show with rugby. So this is fun, right? This is fun, and this is a talented group that you have only made better by the signing of Olive Khalifi. I mean, this group's loaded now. You got to be stoked.
No, I mean, to be honest, I think Brandon and Chris have done an amazing job, especially in the front row. Bringing Ollie in, and a few of the other signings that we've had is only going to bolster the already strong squad we have, and that front row. I'm excited. Ollie's an amazing guy. I worked with him during the World Cup, 2 World Cups for him, and he's just very talented. So I'm excited to work with him again.
And he said you played together in Seattle?
Yeah. So so him and I played together in Seattle, and we actually when he started with the Eagles, USA Eagles, I was still playing at that time. So him and I had actually gone to a couple of camps together. Yeah, it's awesome. So it's been good.
So the strength of the set piece under the guidance of Shawn Pittman has just gone through the roof. As a forward, as a front rower, it was always it was tough for me the first year and a half of the Utah Warriors because I didn't feel like our pack was something that lived up to what it should be. And now you've come in, and we saw the growth through the second half of the season, and then through what you were able to do in through 2021. And just building on strength and taking the weapons that we had and using them in the best ways. And now you've continued to add more. What else do you have in store for us, man?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully a couple other things,
You just making this up as you go? Come on.
A couple tricks out of the hat. No, I can take a lot of credit for stuff, but to be honest, like the boys have done an amazing job, they've done an amazing job of, we haven't changed too much. We critiqued things, we've tweaked things slightly, to hopefully, help them performance wise. But in all, like we have a really solid scrum, and I honestly scrum and forward pack, and I back the boys to do whatever kind of they want. We have some simple guidelines, and we follow them, and everybody buys in, and that's it. But we have great leadership. Already, like Franco, Angus. I'm really excited to see Tucci coming back from his injury. Like super excited. The guy's ability to win some contacts and get some offloads in. I'm really excited to see that. Angus's ability to ball play, Franco ball carrying. Like we have a really, really strong pack, and adding Paul, Ollie. We still have Mike Payne, and like Mike Payne, of course, he's in the weird tweener position of tight head and hooker, but we're really looking at him at a hooker this year. And again, he's a very athletic individual who's only been playing rugby for a couple of years. So we have a quite a strong prop show, if you want to say. So I'm excited about it.
Was that a spot or those spots that you identified in the offseason that you wanted to strengthen, or was that happenstance?
Well, I think it was kind of happenstance. I mean, we actually had the percentages didn't look our way when you look at the stats from the 5 games that we played. But I was actually quite happy with our front row, with the individuals that we had in it. Whatever, players have left, and we've had to, pull some people in. But I think we've just upgraded easily. Like for some reason, we've upgraded, and it's just things have just happened really well. And the connections that we've had, with Brandon, with Ollie, and then myself, and I think we've just done a really good job of recruiting individuals that are just going to add to the quality of our set piece.
I mean, obviously, we've talked about the strength of the set piece, the improvements at the scrum. We've always had weapons at the line out. Last year, I felt like we were really loose forward heavy, and the depth was there. Now that depth really, I think, is in the tight 5 and the ability to put anybody on the field on our roster and have a top tier competitive level type 5. And not just at the set piece. I feel like there's guys that can run with the ball in hand. And as a forwards coach, that's got to be exciting to play that kind of expansive brand of rugby from the set piece. Win your ball, get the ball in hand, and then go play rugby, because the set piece and playing rugby are 2 completely different portions of the game, like playing special teams and playing offense and defense.
Yeah, and then that's the cool thing is this, like Shawn and I have had so many conversations and looking over, how we've done our player profiling with, what we can start to do around like maul plays, and, last year maul heavy. All the time we're maul, but realistically it didn't benefit us as much as it should have, even though we were number 1 in the league.
Unless Tuvene had the ball at the back and he ended
that's true.
off. He scored quite a few times off of that.
or KT just
that was awesome.
KT falling over the line. We mauled a bunch. We didn't achieve some good stuff from it, but we want to start doing plays around the fringes a bit more, and that's what we kind of want to be known for, is giving just throwing a bunch at you and just being like, hey, defend it and see what happens. And then we can start to, pinpoint stuff, like, well, this is how we're really going to operate, in this part of the field. It's, as the season goes on, we have a way that we want to play, that attractive brand of rugby. Of course, it's the style that I absolutely love. But having the forwards that we have now gives, Sean Davies the ability to really plan some good strike moves from our lineout, and even our scrum, with our sixes and stuff like that coming around the corner. So,
Shawn, we've been talking about the finer points of the play from props. So educate the masses on, okay, when you see this, now it's going really well, or what should people be looking at exactly when they're saying a scrum or something in the breakdown with those props?
Oh, gosh, it's tough. There's so many different variables. Like, honestly, there's so many different things. You could say one thing and you can dive deep into it for like 30 minutes. Like, like someone, cutting a hard angle at like the hooker, and you're like, he gets pivot up and lifted, and you're like, well, he didn't drop his shoulder. But you're like, whoa, even if he did drop his shoulder, he's like 105 kg prop. He's not going to be able to actually do that. There's like a lot of like detailed that goes into the scrum, and like Jared, like he knows really well about it. It's just too much to dive into, to be completely honest.
We'll do a separate WNation, and it'll be an hour of just prop technique.
Just scrummaging live on live.
You can't even talk about it unless you're there, and like especially at the tight head side, until you have that engage and you feel somebody come in at the angle on your shoulder or come in straight, or you feel them try and press the back of your neck with the loose head, and you know that you just have to turn your head in and then push, or you can pull with your right arm and go after the hooker. And when are those times to attack? Unless you've sat in there and felt it, you just, there's no way to explain it, which is why I think it's so incredible with the guys like Paulie coming in and Ollie. As we look ahead down the road to what we're building as WNation, when you get somebody like Elijah now, when you're talking about a young guy that doesn't have a ton of minutes but has this incredibly athletic profile through his college playing career and now making the transition to rugby, to have those kind of mentors that can teach him those kinds of things, that he's going to learn things in practice by scrumming with those guys that you could never learn in a lifetime of classroom teaching.
No, I agree. I mean, Elijah's, I haven't met him at all, but to be honest, he has the best footwork out of any of our forwards. And I'm going to be honest, he's better footwork than like a good portion of our backs. Like seeing him run and stuff like that, seriously, just his ability to change angles and, slow down, accelerate, like, man, he's good. And he tightens the bolts down on his scrummaging. And I think he has a really good future for him. And a really positive one with being around, individuals like Paul, Angus, and Franco, and, Ollie. And, that's the great thing about Ollie coming in. Like he's been really seriously coaching, with the Seattle Saracens for the past couple of years. And, he's been a massive member there for, countless years. But he's been a really solid coach there. So he has a really good coach foundation coming in to kind of help with his knowledge. I'll help with the other players' knowledge and how they can digest it, and how you can change pictures for them. So it'll be good. It'll be really good to have him here.
Okay, Shawn, what work needs to get done in the next 3 months to be ready for the San Diego Legion on March 21st?
Wow. First of all, we all need to be together. That'd be good. But we're working on our fitness. That's it. I think it's just, it's just getting together, us playing together for those 4 or 5 weeks of preseason, and kind of changing the way that people think about the Utah Warriors. I think we started that massively last year in the first 5 games. And, hopefully, and I very much believe it, is we're going to definitely shock some people this year. And at the same time, like, it shouldn't be a shock. They know that this has been building for the last 3 years, especially with the stable individuals that have been a part of it, like Angus, Franco, and, the countless names. But, it's not a shock. It's just team cohesion over the last, 3 years. That's going to build a very solid program for us.
Coach, when you look at now the depth that you have with Gus and Franco just being really the foundation that we've had here in our forward pack at those tight and loose head positions, but now you add the depth, whether you want to say in front of or with them behind, whoever that ends up being getting the call with the start. How do you manage players when you're so deep with caps at almost every position on the international level? That's got to feel good as a coach, knowing that the next man up, there's no dropout. You don't have to shrink your playbook. You don't have to dumb anything down. How do you manage that with that level and that caliber of player, 2 and even 3 guys deep now?
No, you just be honest with them. I mean, that's the amazing thing about like the way that we coach is we're very honest with everything. And especially where the depth chart sits. And it's different horses for different courses. I mean, in a certain match, you might want to play an individual because we might need a little more gain line in our carries. So there's that. It's not all about set piece, even though I want to believe it is. But it's there's other aspects of the game that play like that contribute to the factors of being selected.
Props. It is all about the set piece.
Well, you can bring a little extra.
Well, we are so excited, Shawn. This is going to be a really fun season for a million reasons, but one of them is the props and the depth there. And we look forward to seeing what you can do with them. We appreciate you taking a few minutes here on WNation.
No worries, anytime. Happy to talk to you guys.
Don't forget, there is an announcement coming up that we can't tell you too much about. An exciting preseason announcement, WNation, that you'll hear about first. You'll want to stand by for that coming out very, very soon.
Can't wait for that. I mean, this is going to be fun. The players, are gathering and training. The international players will get here, a little bit later, and then all of a sudden, we're gonna see this team start to gel and then play in March. And we learned so much today about props. This was really fun to tackle, and we couldn't really tackle it, but metaphorically, the ones and the threes, right? The loose head and the tight head, to get to know that position better. And this is a loaded group now when you add Oli Khalifi.
The level of competition in this group is unbelievable. It's the deepest group that we have in the Utah Warriors right now as far as competition goes. There's Eagles caps all over the place. There's future caps all over the place. There's talent potential that have come through the draft. There's lots of different options for the Utah Warriors in the front row. Super exciting to see this develop.
Okay, that'll do it for us. For Oli Khalifi, Franco Vandenberg, Alex Tucci, and Shawn Pittman, Billy the producer, and Banksy, I'm Jeremy Jordan. Go Warriors!